Bhairavi's village always slept early. They had to. Everyone knew that the fields were cursed after midnight, a place where shadows moved on their own and whispers rode the wind. But tonight Bhairavi had no choice. Her grandmother was fading, her breath growing shallow, and the only herbs that could help were in a hut on the far side of those very fields. Clutching a small oil lantern, its flame a tiny speck of courage against the vast darkness, she pushed aside the tall whispering grass and stepped onto the forbidden path. The air was thick with the chirping of crickets and the rustle of unseen things in the undergrowth. For a while it was just an eerie walk, but halfway across, everything changed. The wind died completely. The symphony of crickets fell silent, as if a switch had been flipped. The flame in her lantern, once a warm orange, twisted and sputtered, shrinking into a sickly, blackish blue. A cold dread, sharp and sudden, pierced her heart. Then she heard it. A woman, crying. The sound was soft, broken, and filled with the despair that made the hairs on Bhairavi's arms stand on end. And it was close, so close, it felt like it was right behind her. Didi, the voice trembled, a ghostly plea, "Help me, please." Bhairavi's blood ran cold, but her compassion was stronger than her fear. She turned, lifting her lantern. A woman stood there, her long dark hair completely covering her face. Her shoulders shook with silent, gut-wrenching sobs. But something was deeply wrong. The lantern light cast a woman's shadow on the ground, but it wasn't a single shadow. It stretched unnaturally long and distorted, before splitting into three distinct, writhing shapes. Bhairavi took a step back, her hand trembling. Who are you?" The crying stopped instantly. The woman's head snapped up, where her face should have been. There was nothing, just a smooth, blank expanse of skin, like polished marble. Then, one by one, three glowing, malevolent eyes opened across that void, staring directly into her soul. Behind the weeping woman, two other shapes materialized from the darkness. One was impossibly tall and thin, a skeletal figure made of jutting bones and shadow, a living pole of death. The other crawled low to the ground on twisted, spider-like limbs, its mouth gaping open, dripping a thick, black fluid onto the dying grass. Called TRIGHORI, the legend was real. The central figure, the devourer, spoke, but the voice wasn't its own. It was Bhairavi's, a perfect, chilling mimicry. "You walk in my hour." The ground beneath her feet turned ice. The tall grass bent away from the three horrors, as if recoiling in terror. The shadow form glided closer, its impossibly long, bony fingers reaching for her. Bhairavi screamed and ran. The lantern flame died, plunging her into absolute blackness. The path vanished. Panic seized her as she stumbled through the tall grass, her heart hammering against her ribs. But every direction she turned, every path she took, led her right back to the same terrifying sight. The three glowing eyes, the skeletal form, the crawling nightmare. The weeping woman's voice was everywhere now, whispering from all directions at once, a venomous, seductive hiss. "Give me your breath." Just one breath. Bhairavi gasped for air, but she felt a strange, cold pulling sensation from her chest, as if her very life force was being drawn out of her. Her lungs burned, her vision blurred, her knees buckled, and she fell to the ground, the darkness closing in. Just as her consciousness began to fade, a sound cut through the night. Dawn, the first bell from the village temple, calling the faithful to morning prayers. The sound of dawn. The three figures shrieked in unison, a sound of pure agony and rage. Their bodies contorted, twisted into columns of black smoke, and vanished just as the first hint of gray light touched the horizon. Bhairavi, barely alive, crawled back to the village, her hair streaked with white, her eyes forever holding a reflection of the terror she had witnessed. And to this day, the elders in that village warn the young ones, stay out of the fields before the sun is fully risen, because if you listen closely, you might just hear a woman crying for help, and see three glowing eyes watching you from the dark.